In previous video, we have touched on the introduction and the classification of ether. In this video, we'll focus on the naming of ethers. In naming of ethers, we'll see the common naming system as well as IUPAC nomenclature system. Now let us take the simple ether like that CH3OCH3. In this example, you can see that here two substituents are present on oxygen atom. It means that two alkyl groups are present on oxygen atom, that is R1 as well as R2. Here both alkyls are same. So let me write the name of this compound. So this is methyl and this is also methyl. While writing the common name of this ether, at that time we must start as a di as a prefix, dimethyl ether. While writing the IUPAC name of this compound, at that time we must start the numbering to the parent chain. Here you can see that this is the CS3 and this is also CS3. Here both groups are same, and while writing the IUPAC name we have to select the longest continuous chain. But here both groups are same and total number of carbon atom is 1. So we can give the numbering to this carbon as a 1, and the remaining substituent is methoxy substituent. So we can write it as 1 methoxy. Now here the basic compound is methane. So we must write prefix as a meth. While writing the IUPAC name, the ANE which is present in alkane, that is retained, and we must write it as a methane. So if we combine these two, at that time we will get the IUPAC name as a 1-methoxy methane. Let us take another example. We can write the structure of the ether like that. So we have CH3O, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now in this case you can see that methyl group is attached on this oxygen, and this is little bit bigger one. So if you count the total number of carbons 1, 2 and 3, it means that this is propyl group is attached to this oxygen. While writing the common name, at that time we have to take precaution about the alphabetical order of this substituent, so M as well as P. So M will come first, so we must write it as a methyl propyl ether. This is the common name. We can write the IUPAC name of this compound. So while writing the IUPAC name, we must start the numbering to the basic parent chain. So here longest continuous chain is like this. So we must start the numbering like this. So this is 1, 2 and 3. Now here on this carbon number 1 we have again methoxy substituent. So we can write it as a 1-methoxy. Then we have 3 carbon structure or compound, basic compound. So we can write it as a propane. While writing the IUPAC name, so if you combine these two, so our IUPAC name of this compound will become 1-methoxy, 1-methoxy propane. Now we'll take the another examples. Here you can see little bit the bigger groups. Now in this structure, if you want to give the IUPAC name, at that time we have to check the longest continuous chain. So here you can see that this is 1, 2 and 3. Now on carbon number 2 we have methyl substituent. So let me write it as a 2-methyl, 2-methyl. So let me write it as a 2-methyl. Then we have ethoxy substituent on this carbon number 1. So this is ethoxy substituent and which is attached to the carbon number 1. So we can write it as a 1-ethoxy, 1-ethoxy. And the parent chain is propane. So we can write it as a propane. So if we combine these three, we'll get the IUPAC name of this compound. So this will become 1-ethoxy, 1-ethoxy, 2-methyl, 2-methyl propane. Now we'll give the IUPAC name to this compound. Here you can see that this methoxy group is attached to this carbon. So we must start the numbering to this carbon as a 1. Here we can give the numbering in a clockwise direction as well as anti-clockwise direction. If we start in anti-clockwise direction, this substituent will come first. Therefore, we must give the number 2 to this carbon atom. So now here, if you see the substituent at position number 2, we have ethyl substituent. This is the cyclopentane and we have one methoxy in this particular compound. So let me write all these things. So this is 2-ethyl, 2-ethyl, 2-ethyl. So we can write 1-methoxy and we have cyclopentane, cyclopentane. So we can write the IUPAC name of this compound by combining these three. So this will become 2-ethyl, 2-ethyl, 1-methoxy, 1-methoxy, cyclopentane. Now let us take the another example where two methoxy groups are present. So you can see here that this is the 1-methoxy group and this is the another methoxy group. At that time, we must see the longest continuous chain and give the numbering to this longest chain like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. While writing the IUPAC name at that time, you can see here that we have the methoxy substituent at position number 1 and 5. So we must write it as a 1, 5. We should write prefix as a di because two methoxy are there. So dimethoxy. The basic compound is pentane. So we must write it as a pentane. If we combine these two at that time, we can write the IUPAC name as a 1, 5 dimethoxy pentane.